trade deadline remains to be seen. But he has made it clear that he won't throw his stars under the bus. However, in a radio appearance, Ainge said, "I do believe in my players. I like them all individually. I think they have good futures. I just think right now our team is in a major funk." Chris, how concerned are you about the Celtics?
Well, there's different levels. Number one, they're the 9th-seeded team today in the Eastern Conference. So, obviously, they wouldn't even be in the playoffs. I mean, they'd be in the play-in tournament, but not the top 8. I don't think there's any way that continues. If they didn't make the playoffs, I would just be floored. So, I do think they'll make the playoffs. They'll right themselves to some degree, all right? They won't keep playing on a pace where they win 7 and lose 14, which is what they've done over the last 21 games. However, here's the problem in Boston. They've been to the Eastern Conference Finals 3 of the last 4 years. They have 2 max salary players in Kemba Walker and Jason Tatum, and another guy in Jaylen Brown who's getting paid handsomely. So they are a team that is built to win right now and expected to win right now. And there is no way that they're coming out of the East. And that was the people were thinking they had a shot to do that. I don't see them getting to the conference finals. Brooklyn is obviously better. Philadelphia is certainly better, I think, at least right now. And the reason they used to beat Philadelphia in large part was because Brad Stevens would out-coach Brett Brown. I don't think that's going to happen now with Doc Rivers. So I put Philly ahead of them. Even if Boston rights itself and gets itself together, they are still at best the third best team in the East in my estimation. And I'm not even talking about Milwaukee, a Toronto team that's suddenly playing well, and Indiana. So Boston is, I'd be concerned if the goal was to get to the NBA Finals, which it was. So, yeah, there's a major concern there because that is not going to happen this season.
The concern is in the immediate future, yes, they're not going to play for a championship. Not only this year, next year, they're locked up, as Chris mentioned, when it comes to their cap situation. It's going to be difficult to change this team. It's why they were seeing what the market was for Kemba Walker last summer to see if they could move him, because they realized we're not good enough to get to where we want to go. But concern, that's a little tricky for me to say that the sky is falling on the Boston Celtics. Look, they've not only been to the Eastern Conference 3 times in the last 4 years, they've been to the playoffs 6 years in a row, and there's still a very good chance that they will go again this year. The door is simply closed when it comes to them winning a championship in the next year or two because of what Brooklyn has put together and what Philadelphia has put together. That said, Boston still has 2 young talents. They have assets. They have the ability the ability to change pieces and still make this a viable team in the near future. It's not like they're locked up going long term. So did they potentially miss their window right now? They may have. And they may have, even if they weren't playing as badly as they were, that they still wouldn't be good enough to beat this new iteration of the Brooklyn Nets. So am I concerned for their chances right now? Yes. But in the big picture, it's not as if this is a death knell for the Boston Celtics organization for the next 3, 4, 5 years. They have the ability to get out of this.
I couldn't disagree more, guys. I'm stunned at this. We're talking about a Boston team without Marcus Smart, the heartbeat of that locker room, the heart and soul of that team. He's been out for like 3 weeks. He's going to be out a couple more. Boston is a team that I've already bought low. I bought futures to win the East. I believe, Rick and Chris, nobody matches up better in the East with the Brooklyn Nets than the Boston Celtics. When you can put Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, and Jason Tatum on the perimeter against KD, Kyrie, and James Harden, that's your best chance anybody in the East can take down the Brooklyn Nets. This is a Boston team that needs to turn the spotlight on Danny Ainge. And, you know, I don't want to go too hard here, but this is a guy who lost Al Horford for nothing, who lost Kyrie Irving for nothing, who lost Gordon Hayward for nothing. I know they got the trade exception. We'll see what happens. But Danny Ainge is the one who has kind of bricked in the last few off seasons and has prevented this team from making the leap. Kemba Walker's taken a lot of heat. I get it. The knee is an issue, but LeVar, I'm all in on Boston. I think as soon as they get healthy, this team is right there, maybe as the second best team in the East.
They've had game slides. You know, they're struggling. There's so much more basketball to be played. And you know what? They got one player, his knee is bumming. He'll get it healthy. Once he's healthy, and Kemba Walker, they'll be so much better. Once they get Marcus Smart back, they'll be so much better. What are we panicking for? I mean, come on, guys. There's so much more basketball left to be played as we go down the stretch of the second half of the season.
I see what he's doing,
All right,
Chris.
hold on a second.
You see what he's doing?
Hold on a second.
I know where he's
LeVar,
I mean, windows closing, opportunities gone. No, you've had your chance to talk, Rick Bucher. I'm going to talk right now because you know what? It sounds as though what's good for the goose doesn't happen to be good for the gander in this conversation.
I don't even know what that means.
Because I don't either.
right.
But it's always been used when it's
LeVar.
talking about something good for something that should be good for
Broussard,
something.
he's on to something here.
All right, Broussard, go ahead. I mean, if you guys,
No,
look, if
LeVar.
Qualifier
Okay.
and you know, Deflector, you guys want to team up and form Voltron right now, be my guest. But I'm just saying, why are we panicking?
I'm going to bring the truth, LeVar.
Okay.
The Los Angeles Lakers have LeBron James. That's who you're talking about. Because
Okay.
Rick and I said there's no reason to panic with the Lakers.
Okay.
Let's count the differences between the Lakers and the Boston Celtics. Number
Let's do
one,
it.
the Lakers won the championship last year. Number two,
Different team.
the Lakers have LeBron James.
Old
Number
man.
three, Anthony Davis is much
He's
better
hurt.
than Kemba Walker.
He's hurt.
And so don't dare compare Kemba Walker and Marcus Smart to Anthony Davis and Dennis Schroeder, who's on their level, but
Schroeder?
he's teamed with Anthony Davis.
Did you just do that?
So just stop it. That's
Did you just do that?
That's ridiculous. And then I'm not going to let J-Mac off the hook.
Wow.
J-Mac, you're starting to sound like Brandon Ingram. All right? Did you really just sit here on national television and say that the Boston Celtics are going to win the East?
No, I said I will
That's
bet
your
them
pick?
to win the East because they're like plus 2,300. There's value. You're telling me
I'm not Fox Bet. I'm not into the gambling.
who matches
Who's
up
winning
better
the
with
East?
Brooklyn? Who matches up better with Brooklyn in the East than Boston?
The
Philadelphia.
70ers.
Oh, stop it!
Philadelphia.
Their backcourt is a
Do
joke.
you realize? Do you
Come
realize?
on.
Let me address you guys. Hold
you
on,
kidding me?
because y'all coming out the football
Hey,
player
LeVar,
like he
no,
can't
no.
talk no
You
basketball
had
here.
your
Let me
turn to
put y'all up on game real quick. Broussard, you cannot sit there and say they won the championship last year. That's why, and they have LeBron.
Did.
Hey, no, it's a different team. It is a vastly different team than what it was last year.
The heart
That's
and
first and
soul of
foremost.
it's the same.
It is not the same team that won the championship last year. That's first and foremost. Secondly, I do not know what Anthony Davis is, what his health is going to be moving forward.
You
That
don't know
is
what
a
Marcus Smart's
tricky
health is gonna be
injury.
moving forward either. Or
That is a
Kemba Walker.
very tricky injury. So right now you're talking about and Schroeder, like I get what you guys are saying, but I still think you guys are overselling him and what he brings to the table. I take Rondo over that. Anyway, the bottom line of what I'm saying is that when we're drawing these comparisons, it's interesting because when I look at the 76ers, what do the 76ers tend to do, J-Mac, when they make it to the playoffs and the end of the season?
I like Ben Simmons. I'm Team Ben
I mean,
Simmons.
there's memes. There's so many funny memes of
New
Embiid
coach, LeVar.
choking in the playoffs
New
and not
coach.
getting
What
it
do the-
done. I don't
what do the
trust it.
Boston Celtics do?
I don't.
Doc Rivers.
I don't trust
Rick,
it.
Doc Rivers never choked.
I don't trust it. And
I'ma
then when
let
you're
Rick-
talking
I'ma
about
let Rick clean y'all
and
up.
then we're talking about Brooklyn. Yes, I like where Brooklyn is right now. Yes, I like the way that they look. Yes, they look like the team that could come out of the East. Yes, it looks like James Harden is playing at an MVP level. I like Brooklyn. Do I think that it still can be competitive if Kemba Walker gets healthy and Marcus Smart gets healthy? Yes. Why is that such a bad foregone conclusion to think that they can still be competitive against Brooklyn? I have to see it from the 76ers. I have to see it from them. They haven't proven, which it was a Penn Stater that won the game for them the other night on that game-winning dunk. By the way, I'm a fan. But anyway, back to my point. I'm not a believer in the 76ers right now. I got to see it take place between Brooklyn and the Celtics right now.
But you're using
that's the
another
truth.
literary device. It's called hyperbole.
Hyperbole is good
Boston,
too.
Look,
Back to back.
I like that.
The Boston Celtics may be good, and they may be good at small ball. They're not better than the Brooklyn Nets at small ball, no matter who is healthy and on the floor for them. The only way you're going to knock off the Brooklyn Nets is to play a different way, which is what the Philadelphia 76ers do. They play big ball. That's an opportunity to beat the Brooklyn Nets, not at their own game, but make them play a different game. And so that's why the Boston Celtics, no matter what their configuration is in the current season, they're not going